Hi guys, it's Archie. How's everyone doing? Good, 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 I hope. Today I am reviewing the reworking of Pierre Guillaume's fragrance called Coze, which I reviewed recently. This is Coze Verde. Coze was number 2, this is 2.1. What Pierre Guillaume does is, with some of his fragrances, he does what he calls a reworking. This isn't a reformulation, it's not a thing where he's tweaking things to reduce quality. It's an actual reworking, like watching a second part of a film. Both fragrances still exist. It's just, I guess you could call it a re-envisioning of his first idea. So this one is called Coze Verde. The first one was inspired by his grandfather's tobacco box, or his cigar box. It was very heavy on the woods, very heavy on the spices, very heavy on the tobacco. And what they've done with this one, or what he's done with this one, I should say, is re-envisioned it. It's still themed around those things, but this invites you to maybe smoke a cigar on a beach in Panama. So yeah, let me tell you the notes. So the top notes are tobacco leaf, lime, and fig tree sap? Fig tree sap, I had to check. The heart notes are amyl salicylate, which is a very strange note. It's something that gives a cut grass, greenery type effect to a fragrance. There's also coffee in the heart, cocoa, pepper and paprika. And then the base notes are patchouli, dry woods and leather. So there's a lot of things that are still tied to the original in this one, but it's different, and I'll tell you how. So let me just spray it wet on this hand, it's drying on the other one. So the first one came out in 2002, and this one came out 10 years later in 2012. He's done that with quite a lot of his fragrances. He's done 5 and 5.1, 10 and 10.1, I think 11 and 11.1, but I'll eventually go through them in one way or another. We'll just have to get there. So, this one is, when you first spray it, you can feel the core of the other one. The other one was really nutmeggy to me. It was like, almost like Christmas spices, but with really dark brown intense woods and tobacco and some coffee. This one, you can feel those things underneath, but the whole thing is brightened up and you get this burst of fig tree at first. You get that, you know, that lovely, almost buttery green feeling that fig tree, fig leaf and fig often give in a fragrance. And it's really nice. It does feel like the composition is more open, where the other one was quite closed and it took you straight in there. This one feels brighter, it feels more friendly, and fig is just lovely, and it's really nice to smell it paired together with things like coffee and cocoa and spices and woods, rather than citruses, which is, often is, I think. So that happens straight away, and then it's been drying here. What happens is the fig part of it backs off quite a lot, and this amyl salicylate note, whatever that may be, really takes hold. I can really feel a greenery in here that isn't fig. It's a really sharp greenery that I can smell, and it's not kind of plant-like, it's more of an accent to the woods, which really rush forward when it's dry. It's really intensely woody, this. I don't even know what the woods are. It's not a typical cedar wood, it's not a light thing at all. The whole thing does have an air of lightness compared to the first one, but it's by no means a fresh fragrance. They did freshen the composition up, but it still doesn't reach the fresh point, I don't think. The woods in here are still the backbone, the spices are still the backbone, but you do have this greenery that dances around it, and it's really nice, and it does feel a little bit holiday-like. There, I said it. I don't think it feels beachy. I know they wanted it to be like smoking a cigar in Panama or something like that, but it doesn't really smell like that. It just feels like there's a nice greenery added to these woods, and it's quite interesting actually. Not my favourite from him. There are better ones. There's some really good ones, but then there's also some really not good ones. But I'll get there eventually, believe me. The change happens quite quickly. I do kind of wish that the fig had stayed around, the fig tree part of it had stayed around a bit longer, but it does kind of descend quite quickly into this very green woody thing, and I mean it's already going, and I only sprayed it on my hand literally a minute ago. It lets this amyl salicylate thing happen, which I was reading up about. I didn't just make it up, by the way. It is kind of supposed to be grassy and gives a green element to a fragrance. So it goes from one green element to another, while all the time being very woody and spicy. The things in here are quite heavy. Coffee, leather, pepper. It's things that are quite dark in a fragrance, so it's nice to see how they've almost brightened them up while still sticking true to the original theme. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. Some Pierre Guillaumes I've tried have been not so good with longevity. This one, because it's quite a deep scent, is one of the longer lasting ones. I never get more than 12 hours out of any of them. I would say this one probably lasts about 6, maybe 7 at full pelt, but then it starts to kind of descend and you are left with just kind of the woody element of it. It goes, the pyramid really goes in the direction that you see it, where sometimes pyramids don't. Something will leap out at a certain point, but this really does go dunk, 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 like that. I think if you've tried the first one and it was a bit too much for you, this is a really good rework in terms of the other reworks I've smelled from him as well, because I've smelled most of his line now. But I think it's a really nice rework. It's nice to... It makes it feel a little bit more springy, where the other one felt a bit more winter. And that's the best way I can put it. Anyway, that's Romano. Click my logo down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another video. Goodbye.